Okay, we shall start. Meeting's being recorded online as well, so just to let everybody know. And welcome everybody. Community Matters Committee meeting, Thursday, 25th of April, and we're a little bit late starting, but 7:30 as we are. Okay, just a few housekeeping things which I need to run through. First of all is the fire safety and exiting the building. So fire exits are located just at the stairs there, and we've got another fire exit down the metal staircase to the outside. Our fire evacuation point, if we do need it, is over in the Focal car park. So Wendy shall be ushering us all out and meeting us over there if necessary. We're not expecting any fire drills or anything to go off, so if the fire alarm does sound, it does mean that it's it's real. So we shall exit in an orderly fashion. The next bit to read is just around the recording of meetings. So this is quite a paragraph that I need to read out, but it is what it is at the moment. All Town Council meetings are filmed and recorded, and they're published on the Town Council website. Subject to the Standing Order 413, a person who attends a meeting is permitted to report upon the meeting whilst the meeting is open to the public. To report means to film, photograph, make an audio recording of the meeting proceedings, or use other means for enabling persons not present to see or hear the meeting as it takes place, or later, or to report, or to provide an oral or written commentary about the meeting, so that report or commentary is available as the meeting takes place or later to persons not present. I shall now read the next sentence. Further details is given in the Portishead Town Council Filming and Recording Policy, Policy C8, and the Portishead Town Council Behavioural Policy 4.1.3. A person present at the meeting may not provide an oral report or oral commentary about the meeting as it takes place without permission, and all recordings must comply with current GDPR UK regulations. If you do not wish to be recorded or filmed during a Town Council meeting, please inform the Chairman, that's myself as the Vice Chairman this evening, and we will advise where you can be seated. As long as everybody is happy to proceed, we are good. Okay, agenda item number 2. Apologies for absence. So we're obviously a reduced.
Sorry, can I stop? Mike's now vice chair. Doesn't that make him a member of this committee?
No.
Okay. Right. Sorry.
Not until I guess we if we were to.
I thought the vice chair and vice chair.
He can stand in. But,
yeah, we could. Yeah, Roger, we've got Roger's absence for this evening to report. But then that would be the full committee as it is. But yeah, I mean, we could get Mike on. I think we are a decent quorum anyway for any votes that we need to have later on, so we should be fine. We should be fine. So yeah, so we're. Roger, and we've also got an apology for one of our guests that is attending or was due to be attending later. So Cameron from there's a district transport as well. So I've got those, but that doesn't prevent us from carrying on with those agenda items. So we should be all good. Agenda item 3: declaration of councillors' interests and requests for dispensation. So I need to register my interest. We've got 2 cost of living grant applications later on in the agenda item 10 for Portishead Youth and Community Centre. So I'll need to excuse myself from those, being a trustee on that board. That's it for me.
No,
I'm aware of. Still very few that I'm aware of.
None that I'm aware of.
None that I'm aware of.
None that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Okay, that's so yeah. So agenda item number 4, Chairman's verbal update report. So we've got 3 points and one I just want to add to this as well. So the Lake Grounds Visitors Survey update. So you're helping us out here, David. So
the Lake Grounds survey has now been running for between 5 and 6 weeks. Almost 32-hour shifts have been covered. at 4 locations around the lake grounds by a number of volunteers and councils, which is fantastic. The maximum estimated footfall in any one 2-hour shift was about 450 people on the bank holiday Saturday, hot sunny Saturday. So and that's just looking at the Esplanade. Just as someone who's done a couple of these, and I know others have, the morning and evening shifts are mainly dog walkers and sports folk. The sort of lunchtime shifts are very different. We've had lots of great comments back about the cafe and the facilities. And I think we've noted that many people come from outside Portishead to use the facilities. Thanks.
And
Thanks to everyone who's helped out with that. See Bob, Janet, 2 people.
yeah, and Mike as
And
well.
Mike, of course.
Yeah. I think at the other end of the spectrum, sort of weather-wise, was Monday evening, wasn't it? Or Monday, miserable Monday, but there was still 40 or 50 people in that hour.
Oh, yes, at least.
Yeah, so
One session cancelled because of the high tides and the bad weather. I was worried the whole thing was
Yeah, we
going to
didn't
get out.
want
It was a force of
I don't know if we're ending up in the estuary at all, but yeah, it's. I mean, we're getting really good numbers and good numbers of input on that haven't we, as well. So that's good. The next update that we've got is on the changing places. So the facilities which are being put in just around the back of the Lake Grounds. I don't know if anybody's been down there and see. So they've broken ground down there, so the foundations and everything are going in. And I think what was it 4 to 6? Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks, hopefully, before the facility is ready. But that will obviously hopefully take us into the back end of May when we've got the bank holidays there as well. So we'll have some landscaping and things to do around that.
Perhaps for our visitors, you could just explain what it is.
Oh yeah, of course. So it's a facility. It's a disabled toilet facility, but it's much more than that. It's actually got the changing bed. It's got the hoist. It's got all of the other amenities in there as well. So it's a fantastic addition, to us as an asset, really, I guess, Portishead as well. So yeah, and as I said, it's I can't remember the total cost off the top of my head, but it's into hundreds of thousands of pounds. So to have that kind of asset for everybody here is
Who's funding that?
it's grant funded. Yeah, so it's a mixture between central government and North Somerset as well. So yeah, but yeah, fantastic asset for us. One item which has been a bit of consternation, really, I guess, for the last sort of couple of months. We've had a lot of waste bins that have been removed from various places across the high street. Literally various places up around by Gordania School as well. We managed to get down to the rationale, and it was literally because of bits coming off, health and safety reasons why they were removed. So they've been removed by the contractors who are responsible of actually taking the waste away. We are now in a position to confirm that those waste bins will be replaced, but we're yet to have a defined timescale on them being replaced, and whether their replacements can also accompany things like the seagull flaps and some of the other facilities that we have on our Portishead and Council bins, which were also removed.
It's worth the committee noting that sort of section 116
Yeah.
money available. It's about 13k available in North Somerset for which they're keen to spend on litter bins and litter related activity, and they want to target the lake grounds. So don't want to miss that opportunity. They're also interested in piloting new bins because the ones along the seafront in particular often get overflow.
Yeah.
So I would suggest we don't replace
Like for
like with like.
Yeah.
So we're looking at better like this reformat of recycled bin, slightly like a bin with recycled.
The trouble
Wants to
at the moment is, and I spoke to Glendale about this, and whilst we've got these bins that separate rubbish into recyclable and non, it all gets picked up and put in the same bin.
Yeah, my company I work for tells the same thing. It's quite ironic. We separate it and put it all in so.
It's a real missed opportunity.
It is re-separated. That's not to say that it all goes to landfill or anything like that. It is re-separated through the different recycling methods, if you know what I mean, when it
It's
goes
a
back.
section of the public when you see a range and
Yeah,
you just take
taking
them
the
off,
both and-
it's just, I think it's a bit weird.
One of my observations on Monday evening was some people were sitting on the esplanade eating fast foods, and then they went to put the rubbish in the bin. But because of the seagull flaps and these big bags of fast food rubbish, they shove it in, and of course it doesn't go completely in past the flaps and drops down. And there's a crow sitting there waiting for the opportunity. They drive off, and the crow pops over and tries to pull it out.
Yeah.
Clever birds, aren't they?
Yeah.
And well, I stopped it because I pushed it back in there. But yeah, you know, that's right. As you pointed out, David, I mean, they do need to look at the
This-
design of these things.
Yeah, there are various different things. I know we've had some information from previous reviews in terms of the bins. So there's crusher bins, there's all sorts of other bins, you know. So it's, I think it depends on really, I guess, what we can do in regards to what funding that has been made available to replace them, and but at the same time, we need to make them fit for.
Yeah, I think the weird thing with the lake grounds at the moment is the blackbirds and sorry, crows, sorry, and
Seagulls.
the crows seem to be dominating the seagulls at the front at the moment, so
But there are
which is a bit weird because you would think the sign of
South Coast as I am, and because I walk down the Esplanade quite a lot,
Yeah.
when I go away on holiday, I take pictures of bins in other locations.
Okay.
We were in Glasgow and Oban recently, and they've got bigger bins.
Yeah.
And they're deeper. They don't require these replacement flaps.
Yeah.
And because they're much deeper, they're safer from seagulls and crows. So that's the sort of thing I think we need to
Yeah.
do in that place. But I'm sure there's someone with real expertise rather than some.
Yeah, no.
We must make sure they're in Portishead blue, so.
So Nikki's on it anyway, and we looked
Should be
into into the sort of the departments in North Somerset that we need to. So we just need to get some timings on their replacements really. Certainly before the summer holidays when we've got more people around and more sort of the potential of more.
So it's Nikki's doing that.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Get in touch with her.
Yes, send her the pictures of your bins.
yeah, she's
Send her the pictures
I've
of
already
your
shown her a
bins.
few, but I've got some updates.
And okay, so lastly for agenda item 4, I just wanted to sort of add on to here my thanks for Paul Churchill's chairmanship for this committee sort of across the course of the last year. So just wanted to sort of make sure that we've got it on record really to thank him for his time, efforts, kind words, and just everything he brought to this committee and to the council as well. So just wanted to add that onto our verbal updates. Okay, so we are on to agenda item number 5, public participation. So I don't know if we've got any specific questions or anything other than the agenda items that anybody wants to bring. I don't think we've got anybody online either. Have we? No. Okay. Agenda item 6 then. So that's the minutes of the previous meeting. We've all got the copies in here. Is everybody happy that was in attendance anyway, that everything is as it needs to be? I was all happy.
Have an update on the Northwestern allotments. Is that on the agenda?
It's not at the moment, just because
We haven't actually got an update yet.
yeah.
And that person who offered to help with the community meeting or the Lake Survey, have they been in touch? Do we know? Yes, we don't.
We've sent an invite back to them, but I haven't been back yet.
Emma, I'm really sorry. Can I, at the end, can I add something at any other business?
Was good.
Thank you very much.
Should I sign this now or should I sign it?
You can do that one, you've got a proposal and a seconder and everybody's happy.
Yeah, is everybody happy?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that a proposal?
I propose, yeah.
Yeah, and Jenny, yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. I'll put them there and then we can.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so agenda item number 7, this is related to the actual safety matting and all of the fitness equipment that we've got on the promenade. So again, I guess if you've all been down there, you can see that we've actually I mean just time, duration, use and everything else. So the report that we've got in the pack here, in essence, is a recommendation to move forward and get those replaced. So I don't know if anybody's got any specific questions on it. We've got a couple of quotes from, there's 2 suppliers, isn't there? We've been limited to 2 suppliers, mainly because of the type of service it is. Kind of limits us in the local. In the locale anyway, is who we can get, but
Mine thought was, there's a big difference in price, isn't there? It's about £1,000 difference, but the notes say that the alternative, the cheaper one, it has proved successful at Dundas Play Park. I put Dundas Play Park into my Google Maps, it's somewhere a long way away from here, so we can't really tell. So my inclination would be to go with replacing like with light rather than go for something
Yeah,
you
for
haven't
the
used
West Hall.
before, even though it's more expensive, but I don't know,
yeah,
not my area of expertise.
we did. I mean, we did look into it. What we can potentially do is approve the spend to the upper limit, and then do some more checks if we need to. We can
Yeah.
get Sharon to ask some more questions, in terms of longevity and all of the
I
other.
was going to say, what's the lifespan?
Yeah.
How long did the
Yeah.
previous one last for? When was it last
Well,
I
replaced?
think the matter surfacing, which has been used at the lake grounds before, it lasts up to 30 years. It's very long lived.
Oh, the matter surfacing has been used at the lake house.
Yes.
That's the coloured tiles.
this colour type, yeah, in play
It's the
area.
preferred.
That's the one I prefer. Because
This is
they were
based,
put in 2016, and that has only lasted for 8 years for the tarmac.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is this based on normal wear and tear? Because obviously being the
Right, where it
situation,
is,
the situation it is, and not the scary one, but obviously the tides have come over the top of an Esplanade regularly over a 10-year period. So every sort of 10 years,
It might, on that basis, the
Yeah.
amount of surfacing, given that it's,
Fixed down.
yeah, but I guess at the same time, it's, they're individual blocks anyway, aren't they? So they can be replaced as individual items. Sorry, Michael.
I think my concern is, from the observations, the current surfaces are higher than the pavement,
They are, yeah.
which is causing the trip hazard. So from the description of what the matter tiles do, to be laid over the existing surfaces, quote unquote, that's, how does it then form a flush surface with the footway? And I would imagine that with the wet pour, if they're chasing it out around the raised, then they can make that a bit more seamless.
yeah.
And so my view would be to go for the wet pour too.
Well, I think, I mean, in essence, in terms of what we need to do here and now, if we improve the higher spend level, we then make some, further investigations into each of the options.
Maybe we could investigate whether the mat could be chased in. Because I think it would last better than the tarmac in the end.
Yeah. Okay, are we okay with
Yeah.
updating the recommendation on
That's
that
fine.
basis? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just from a perspective.
can find another vacancy.
Yes, yeah, well, I can propose that.
Thank you.
And then Janet, second. Yep. Everybody in? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, number 8, it's the high vis vests. Janet, I don't know if you want to do a twist in
Yeah.
it again.
I'll make sure it's on the other one.
So the well,
This is what they are.
Janet,
Janet, you have to come
I've
up
already-
here, the audience, I say.
I'm not
The extra
interested.
small version, is it?
Janet,
Thanks so much.
models that. So, yeah, in essence, what we're looking for is to be able to approve the spend for So we've got a quote for the supply of 30 vests. They will be branded as shown. Sort of 3 different sizes with volunteer on the back. 10.50 a vest, and that includes the 2 prints front and back.
They're just lovely because they're quite comfy as well. Because it was a very, very cold day indeed, and it added an extra layer.
So it needs to.
There appear to be 2 design options though. Which one are you planning to choose?
2 design options with the back and the front, and the back and the front.
Yes, the back's one this other
Yeah,
design option.
no.
It's got the Portishead crest on it, which I prefer, to be honest. It
Um,
might be more useful for other voluntary work around the
I
town.
was going to say, yeah,
It's a
literally,
being
yeah.
anything really.
yeah,
I just think, the reason I prefer the one that says Portishead on the back is that it's very clear that
it's
it's
very
Portishead.
clear, yeah.
Whereas people might not know what the crest stands for, got the crest on the front.
The crest is on the front as well,
So
so.
I agree, it's quite pretty, it's just,
Could we add the word Portishead underneath
well,
the
if that's possible, Portishead on.
Portishead Town Council?
Yeah, it could be a bit, yeah.
Sorry,
I
you
actually
lost it.
understand what that is. That's fine. It gives the information without being more.
Kind of does what it says on the tin, doesn't it?
Yeah, sort of saying we need to be aware that it's for varied use, so it's, you know, it's
Sounds
not,
like we need a vote.
it's not just for the survey, it's for other things as well.
But the other thing is that we're not buying it for other volunteer groups because we can't afford to. We're just doing it for our.
But might not other groups borrow it? If there was a group that wanted to do something and didn't have any funding, I mean, so.
Yes, as long as they were happy to.
But you still got to put it in town council.
Yeah,
On the
we
front
know
anyway,
it, so.
Okay, let's have a show of hands then. So I'll go with this option 1, which is the one that we've got there. I'll give that one for, if there's anybody left. Option 2. No, okay, option 1. Option 1 has it.
Want to pass it back and then give it back to them?
And it washes at 40 degrees and it's made in Bangladesh. So.
The other thing is it's a local company that makes them for us, and they probably have given us a deal.
Okay, we've got, yeah, so on option 1 then, we have a proposer, Jenny, and a seconder, David, and everybody in favour. That's all of us.
What was that for?
That's-
Option 1. I thought
Option
option 1
one.
put that on it.
No, we voted the option.
Which option?
Okay.
We're all together.
Confused.
I know, we're all together. Right, okay, so agenda item number 9. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to move these around for the scouts. So we'll come to so we've even got a camera with us anyway. So we've got the application for grant funding for second Portishead Scouts, and this is coming to the community grants pot, and this is for £5,000. So I don't know if you came to necessarily say anything or add to the application or
Any questions you
Uh,
had, if you.
fine. Yeah, no worries.
I was only interested, Barry, I think the block form, it's be useful to know just what it's for. I know it's been approved, but really it would just be nice to know. 5,000.
So, Second Portishead is one of 2 scout groups in Portishead in the town. We've got over, I think we've got over 150 people in the group, so we're taking from about 6 up to 14. We also have a very thriving Explorer unit, so they're age 14 to 18. I'm just like, there's about 50 of them, far too many. We currently have 2 buses. One of them, effectively known as Molly, is now 19 years old and on her last legs. So that's kind of what we're looking to replace, as well as using it for the scout group. We share it extensively with the youth centre. They use it pretty much. They're one of our biggest users, particularly during the summer. So they're taking all the kids out with, and we don't operate the vehicles. We can't operate the vehicles to make a profit. We don't want to make a profit out of them. We operate them purely to sort of support the community. So we only charge them a very minimal amount towards mileage. We've also loaned it out to a bell ringing group over at the church. We've got a hockey club using it next weekend. Quite a few other scout groups use it locally just because we're one of the few groups with a bus. So it's really useful for us to now be able to have an opportunity to replace money. Really.
And that £5,000 is that into that pot basically.
Yeah, we've got a pot that we're building up. We've also got some donations from the community.
Yeah.
So anything that we can do to minibus is cheap, unfortunately.
No.
So
What's the total cost?
so anywhere, so we're looking at one around about 26,000 plus that. So it's probably about 32,000 pounds for about an 7 or 8 year old minibus. Generally very low mileage. It's come from another school, so we've got our eye on a few. Now's a good time to buy it because a lot of schools are at the end of the financial year, so replace their old buses.
And if at any point, if we've got anybody looking at the recording later, are they able to? How can they get in touch with you to donate?
It might be easiest if we forgot. So we've got a website that they can book on, or they can contact me to look after minibus. The requirements are they're either a charity or a school or another community group. So we do have quite a few inquiries from people looking to hire a bus for family groups. I
was thinking about how they can donate to minibus funds if that's possible.
Yes, the email address to contact is bsl@2ndportishead.org.uk.
Okay, so we'll add that to the minutes, and if anybody wants to sort of put their hands in their pocket. Like,
may I just ask you, when you do evenings up at Bennywood, do you tend to drive the bus up there with the children in them?
Not so much at Bennywood, just because it's our local site. I mean, you can see why that might make sense.
I was just thinking all that, we see the traffic going up.
Certainly do that because there sometimes in the summer you can get 4 or 5 different groups. So that's a good idea. That said, even with two minibuses, we'd be doing regular trips back for some of our sections. So the Explorers, you have to do quite a few trips. But yes, that's a good idea. I would suggest that to the groups.
And the town council could possibly.
Of course, yes.
Go on,
of course.
So how near are you reaching your target of funding?
To our guru.
With this £5,000, I think we could actually hit the target.
Yeah.
So we've been very fortunate. We've had 20,000 offered to us from National Grid. That's only one single grant. We do have to meet some criteria in the next couple of weeks, so we are at the time limit for that. And we've also had 5,000 from Protect Community Foundation. Yeah. That was 2 donors. One was the Bristol Port company, and then a private couple. We've been offered 1,500 from District Scouts, so that's kind of the higher level than Secretary just said. So with all of those, and we were able to get the 5,000 purchase.
Excellent. Well, let's waste no more time then. I'll read the recommendation out. Well, it's just that, just so we're doing it properly. Okay, so our recommendation is to approve the grant funding of £5,000 for second Portishead Scouts. Bob's proposing, Janet's seconding, and are we all in favour? Are we all in favour?
Thank you so much.
No problem at all.
I mean, if there's anything that we can do to help, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a long time since I was a scout, and we used to do back in at signal. I
Yes,
don't
we
know
do
if that still happens. I mean, if those things do happen, and there is if you do want our help or to promote it, just give us a shout. Especially me, obviously, I do a lot of photography in the town.
One thing we do always struggle with, we don't have any problems with getting new scouts through the door. There's a massive waiting list. It's getting adults to help, which is the same. I know it's the same with every.
If I wasn't a councillor, I would probably volunteer. I mean, the Air Cadets, they've asked me as well.
We need a chairperson.
We do need a chairperson.
We do need a chair, which is less, it's 4 meetings a
So
year.
you're looking for a chairperson?
Yeah, so we're a charity, so we've got a trustee board, we need to obviously meet the requirements of charities commission, we need a chair and that position's.
So hopefully someone that's listening to
So
it.
again, the same email address.
Thank you.
Right, yeah.
We'll make sure that both items are on the minutes, so yeah, fantastic. If that's, if you'd say to leave if, yeah, no.
Thanks for coming.
You could stay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries at all.
Finding your way out.
Yeah.
Yeah, press the green button on the right.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Bye-bye,
coming.
thank you.
Okay, excellent, that's good news, they're nearly there, isn't it? Okay, so back to the previous, grant, request, so this is from Nailsea District, Nailsea Community District Transport. So we've received the application, for grant funding for a value of £15,000. The grant working party has met and has made a recommendation that the application be awarded. I don't know if have we got anybody here that's also on the grant working?
Me.
Mike, do you want to give a summary, if you don't mind, throw you in there to?
The history behind the Nailsea Community District Transport is that they have been applying, getting grants through this town council for many years.
Yeah.
And I think it's felt that it's an ongoing, very useful service that comes to Watershead frequently.
Yeah.
Often see the minibus around, and therefore it's a very worthwhile service to support.
As I understand, North Somerset Council have cut back the grants for.
They might have another time.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think obviously with all of the changes with Westlink and all of the other kind of the bus strategy, really, I guess.
And they do
So-
get support from police and.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have a proposer for two hands simultaneous? But I think Bob was just there. Janet, second. Can I ask for everybody else's vote on that?
Thank you.
Yeah.
That will go to full council.
It will, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So this isn't, this is a full, the recommendation is to,
Do we know if they'll be doing a presentation at full council?
We will ask, Cameron was due here this evening, but has been unable to make it.
I think it
So,
might be worth
it'd
asking.
be- yeah, we can, I'm absolutely sure he would do, given he was due here this evening as well, so. Okay, so the next agenda item 10 for the cost of living fund application. So we've had 2 applications under the cost of living grant. I'll read these out, but then I'll probably need to, or shall I remove myself or? Yeah, I do. David, are you all right to take over from
Yeah.
here? Yeah. Do I need to know myself? I'm safe to say, but I'm not going to be obviously voting.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So the first grant, has everyone had a chance to read?
Yeah.
The copies of the applications that came round to us originally were on the 2023 application forms, and we've received an update for one of the 2.
Both of them.
All right.
Yeah.
And the first one of the 2 is for £2,812 to continue the cost of living in supported places at the creche at Portishead Youth and Community Centre application and launching the application. I asked whether we can have some feedback on this, because it'll be the second year they've asked for this. Did we get any feedback from the?
Yes, yeah, so we've got that, I got that from Kim, so I can share that with you as well. So we've got the update that they provided as part of the full town council meeting in March. That's got all of the numbers of the attendees in, and then the available spaces that they've got to fill for the crash for the next period is 30. So it would provide 30 spaces in effect, on top of obviously the additional, that's on top of what the numbers which are already in attendance.
And am I right in thinking these are both just a further iteration of what was applied for last year?
That's right, yeah. Basically, as a sort of a.
So
as I
it's a
said,
straightforward reapplication to the same fund of about 30,000, I think we have this year. Anyone got any comments on?
It's just, are you a member of the Cost of Living Fund? I am, so Emma and I are. And to me, it's a vital service aimed at young children, and when the parents can't afford to put their children into a creche because of cost of living issues and other. And it's a vital service to give parents 3 hours of relief, and so they can go off and do their own thing. So they can't go to the gym or something.
Any other comments? Or
Yeah, and I would also, if the workers, it says it's quality childcare, so therefore I would expect that actually the benefits to the children would be pretty huge as well.
Yeah.
And I was also interested that it said that there were some foster carers were using it, and again I think foster carers, you take your hat off to foster carers, so I think that would like. And the other thing I was going to say, I'm making the assumption that North Somerset Council Children's Services Early Help make referrals through to, I understand that's formal term referral, but I'm assuming it's on the radar there, because again it would be a really useful thing.
It's actually it's a lower level, isn't it? Okay, there's quite a lot of things come through to early help process whereby they don't meet the threshold, and then people are left scratching their heads as to what do we do now. We know that this family could really benefit from a bit of extra support, so I just think more people know about it, better. We can do that and tie that up with Kim for sure, but as Janet was alluded to as well, it's local referrals, it's health visitors. That's fine, it can be local, it can be local. If it's hooked into the children's centre, it will be there. That's fine, I suppose that's the way I should have said it. Is it hooked into the children's centre?
The only thing is we're running out of money on our cost of living fund, so it really is possibly the last time they'll be able to apply for this.
Okay.
Okay. Any other thoughts or comments about the first of the two? So to propose it.
I'll propose.
Janet was first.
I'll second.
You can do the next one, Jenny.
All those in favour? Okay, thank you. So the second of the two grants, and I also want to say we're looking at these here today because the cost of living grants committee has fallen short of numbers, so it's had to come to the Community Matters Committee for us to assess them in the absence of quorum on that committee. So the second one is to continue the Breakfast Club that was funded last year. Any comments about that, Jenny?
The Breakfast Club is a closed group, and they are again referred by GPs and children's centre and health visitors and stuff. And it therefore is probably more valuable than any other breakfast group that anyone might fund, because it helps people who are more vulnerable and less likely to be able to things like that.
Comments? Yeah, I think as we funded this last year, it's pretty straightforward, really. As Jennifer says, this is probably the last year the cost of living fund due to life. financial difficulties. So anyone want to propose it, Bob?
I was going to say, obviously, with North Somerset's cutbacks over the next probably 3-4 years. I think towns like Port said, the public will come more and more to us for support. And I think, these sort of things, we need to try and support it as long as we can. But we are in the same boat as North Somerset Council are, and, the money's getting tight for us as well.
I remember the last time around the discussion we had as a group was we give the youth centre a fixed grant anyway.
Yeah.
And I think there's a debate about shouldn't that be part of that. Aren't we given quite a lot of money already? So should we be given some more? And the counter argument was we're in a difficult economic time now. And so it was important to provide that bit of extra help. But in a year's time, if the economic situation improves, then that may
I think we have to be prepared for either way.
I noted in Kim's application this time, she said that normally the creche is going back to the creche, I do apologise for a second, is a money-making opportunity for them. And if they can't charge people, they can't make money on that particular group of people. So she's answered that particular question for us, really.
So a proposer, a seconder. Bob proposing. Jim seconding. All those in favour? Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you, David. And before moving on from item 10, obviously, as you mentioned, we're no longer at quorum for our numbers, because there's only myself and Janet now that are on the cost of living. So, David, you suggested that you would
Would you like to
join us?
I think there are so many volunteering opportunities for us council at the moment.
Yeah.
I would keep it at 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
It needs to be looked at as in that, look at the whole jigsaw really. In
To be
terms
done
of
with the grants as well, okay.
So.
Okay, so we'll take.
Sorry, Emma.
No, it's fine. We'll take David for the cost of living fund, the working party. But Wendy has just mentioned we're also falling one short on the grants working party as well. So I don't know. We might put that out to the wider councillors.
I think I might volunteer for grants.
Yeah. There we are.
Great, thank you.
Grab somebody while we can.
Yeah.
It's the way to do it.
Yeah.
As a
you.
collective, do we need to vote on?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind proposing.
Yeah.
Seconding that.
Okay, so I'll propose David
you.
joining, Janet seconding,
Lovely,
and then I can propose Jenny and Bob will second that.
lovely, thank you.
Do you want me to vote?
Yes, please.
Oh, Anna vote, sorry, okay, so, first vote for David vote for himself, excellent. And then the vote for Jenny, and that's,
Lovely, thank you.
yeah, you voted myself on there, that's fine. Okay, so we are moving on to agenda item number 11. So this is the Portishead Economic Development Opportunity that we have. So there is a pot of S106 funding which is available to Portishead. I don't know if anybody's managed to get onto the website just to have the presentation to have a look. So I think it's
153.9 something.
152.942.
There we go.
Sorry.
We are though restricted in terms of how it can be spent, and it's not our decision as a town council per se. It will be made by a committee made up of North Somerset and relevant businesses in the area. There we go. Let me get to it. Yes, Janet.
I have a memory of looking at the S106 money and Paper Mill Garden stuff.
Yep.
Actually already is in a spreadsheet that I was very familiar with for some time. And I noted that the the new proposals as to how you spend the money are completely different from the previous
Oh, okay.
proposals. So I was a bit shocked really, because S106 money, we should have 25% of any S106 money and SIL money should come to the council, this council. This is why we had our neighbourhood plan.
Do you think it did come to the council back in
Yeah, this was before or something.
so it was 2018 when the money, so the money might have come into the funds
Before.
during 2018 or from 2018, so we can.
But I can't remember it coming, and I was very up with the S106 money for a long time, and I can't remember it coming in.
So we'll find out whether then that fund is the entirety of the fund, whether some of that fund
It's
is.
already come to us, 15% should come.
Yeah, should have come to us, or whether that fund is 100%, but 15% of it should be ours, maybe. But
I seem to remember the Paper Mill Gardens stuff was supposed to be spent on places like the Lake Grounds. But I can't remember
we
exactly
can find out. In terms of
initially.
what we need to try and address here, it's to a certain degree the publication of the fund being available, and therefore how we can facilitate business in the Portishead area being able to
Access it.
access and the criteria that they've got to apply. So we know we've got a presentation here. We'll put this presentation also, I guess, on our website, and we'll put it through our social media channels. But we'll have to put some notice on notice boards and through our other sort of channels as well.
Once it's been agreed, what it's going to be spent on.
Yeah. So no. So this is the.
It has to be spent on business.
It has to be spent on
but
business.
it's they're giving us three options here.
Yeah.
Which is to make a choice between, and they're recommending option one.
Yeah, but in essence, it's for businesses to become aware of the grant and therefore make an application for either business startup or training or.
I'm just wondering whether there's a possibility for shaping it. I mean, the thing that crosses my mind with this is the post office, and whether, you know, if we had, whether there'd be a meeting before.
We can't spend it. It's not our money to spend. It's money that either needs to be spent on physical infrastructure regeneration, business startup, or skills education and training.
Business startup.
Business startup
Startup.
could be a post office.
If
But not run
somebody,
by us.
but not run by us. That's what I mean. Yes, yeah.
So I just want, so the question I'm asking really is, should we not, before we make this whole thing public, well, it is public anyway.
It is public anyway. Yeah.
But shouldn't there be a discussion with North Somerset and say, is this a really good
That's
idea?
what,
Yeah.
That's what this is. Yeah.
But I'm not sure whether initially it was supposed to be spent on business in the first place, and I think we need to have that checked, because if it wasn't, then North Somerset Council aren't being completely honest with us.
Yeah, I don't know. So we've obviously got Jane Harrison, who is leading this.
Yeah.
So we've obviously got a direct feedback in, if you know what I mean. It's not necessarily a faceless department as such, but we can go through that. We've got all of the analysis of need, proportionate to the rest of North Somerset in the PowerPoint slides as well. But I think in terms of what we possibly need to do is just understand alongside North Somerset what it is that we need to do.
So
Maybe.
you're saying that Jane Harrison is running next line?
Yeah.
So can we not arrange a meeting with a few of us to go through really a bit more detail, because you know with grants it can be really confusing what you can and what you can't do.
What you can. So I mean what we will need to do is organise a small working group to then formulate what it is. Sorry, Mike, you had your hand up for a while.
Is there any indication what the level of grant funding is likely to be to any one applicant?
Yeah, there's nothing. There's no limits.
Yeah, that's what I mean. These are the sort of questions that we need to be answering.
Yeah. Yeah, there's certain specific sectors which will be looked upon favourably, those with high growth potential, or those where there might be more employment needs, or those where, as a proportion of employment or employability, we've got maybe training needs, and there was there was certain areas and wards within Portishead which were distinguished against the others. So yeah, there's a lot of information in there, but in essence, there's we need a working party to be able to kind of home
Tick every box, actually.
Yeah.
We could post office on that if it was done creatively.
Yeah.
The other thing was to take a high street space.
Yeah.
And pay for its rental for a period of time.
Yeah, for like community markets
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like
Kick
that.
startups.
Yeah.
That's why I just think we should have
I
a
think we
say
should.
before it's advertised. We should have a say.
Yes, we need to be creative about
Yeah.
this.
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
So hands up for part of the working group.
I just wonder if we should have a local businessman or some
Yes, yeah,
butcher or someone who knows the
Yeah.
high street.
yeah. I think there's opportunity there to be.
There's Mike, he knows. the
Mike,
high
yes,
street.
he's a local business person.
For some time.
Okay, so I think at the moment we've got myself, we've got David, we've got Jenny, we've got Mike. Half a finger. And
Four,
was-
five would be really good.
yeah, obviously speak to Roger about it as well. So
A working party, you only meet once. I don't should meet once. I should just meet once. then
Well,
meet
yeah,
once.
delegate it out, yeah.
yeah.
I think
But sorry, just to come back to what you were saying, I think we do need somebody with a really solid business head on this, who
Yeah.
knows.
Quite-
knows what will go.
unfortunately, yeah.
Yes. Roger or
First, and
Michael,
then-
yeah.
Okay, thank you. Item number 12, the wellbeing coordinator update. You're busy as usual. We've got quite a few bits and pieces here, so let me just double check the. Yeah, I was going to say the becoming a dementia friend training that we've got for officers and councillors week after next. So that's on the Wednesday. It's on the Wednesday, I think, isn't it? Wednesday 9th of May.
What time is it?
That's at 5 o'clock.
My wife's sending me.
And I will take you home.
Yeah, I'm certainly happy to.
Yeah, that's Laura's sent our invites out for all of that. So so we've got that. But is there any particular updates in regard to?
She just wanted to draw your attention to the Knife Angel because that's on the 4th.
Oh,
The
yes.
event is there. And this one here, the free health event, that's hot off the press. That was just done this afternoon, and that's at the end of May. So that's a brand new event that's just been created.
Is that the one on the
Which one was
24th?
that?
That's it.
Yeah, okay. So that's
That one.
the second point. There's does that coincide with the? Oh no, it is the cardiovascular. Yeah.
And I've got something even hotter off the press
Yeah, even better.
from Laura. She's literally emailed me this evening to say, hot off the press, there's public health funding to help roll out wellbeing workshops for community youth mental health projects across North Somerset. There's £5,693 has been released by the Public Health Woodspring locality, and it's being held by Vans, and it has come about following the success of the Portishead pilot that's currently running. We don't know any more details as yet, but as soon as we do, we will let you know.
Okay. No worries.
It might well have come out of the fact that we had a fantastic wellbeing evening last night, where there was children's and young people's mental health was the subject of the meeting.
Yeah. Okay, so I think it's probably pertinent then just to roll back to the Knife Angel outreach. just to make sure that we've got all of the
Yes.
information on there. So the Knife Angel team presented at the Q1 PWP and subsequently approached the full council for the contribution to the outreach engagement work. So that was the £1,500 which we approved in the January full-time council meeting. So the outreach event in Portishead, so the Knife Angel campaign itself is going to be in Weston. So the large sculpture is going to be it's in the gardens, isn't it? I think. Yeah. That's right. And obviously as part of that, there's campaigns that are going to each of the local towns in effect with their outreach team. So the Portishead outreach event is going to be taking place on Saturday, the 4th of May, from 9 AM to 12 PM, so midday at the football grounds. The event is going to be promoted by the town council. What I've seen through the youth centre as well, Gordano School, and North Somerset Council. The football club are hosting the burger ban, and it will be supported by Off the Record, the police beat team. They're going to be there with their bike marking kits. Fearless there as well, Talk Club, Escape Lives and the Violence Reduction Unit are going to be there as well. The discussions are afoot regarding the installation of bleed kits outside the old boots thing. So I know from a number of the defibrillator units are going to host or hold sort of bleed kits alongside those as well. So that's the old boots building, Folk Hall outside here, and Avonway Hall. And then there's further suggestions in regards sort of hotspots in and around Portishead as well, where those defibrillator units will be sort of hosting both things really, I guess. Okay, any other questions on Laura's report? It's as I said, it's busy as usual, isn't it? And lots of things going on still. Okay, right. Agenda item 13. I don't know whether it's been specifically agenda item 13, but the consultations that are ongoing at the moment.
Emma, sorry, can I just go back to the report?
Yeah, please.
I've just read the full paragraph in respect to her future.
Yes.
And is there any particular update that we're party to having a?
No. No, not yet. No. Yeah, and probably not for this committee, but we can make sure that we've got an update in one of the next meetings to come.
When does the role officially finish?
Yeah, October. Yeah. That's the funding period that we've got in there, but we will absolutely pick it up. Yeah. Okay. Right. Back to agenda item 13, consultation. So the first one that we'll run through is the parking management strategy consultation. So obviously lots going on around this. We've got a public petition which is ongoing and names being collated. I think we're at 3,000. I think was the update that we had from the the instigators of the petition, which is just a phenomenal amount of public feeling really, I guess, towards this. We obviously had the meeting at the Folk Hall a couple of weeks ago as well, which was really well attended, and all of that and the conversations that everybody is having and everything that we've got and all of the feedback that we've got into the town council as well, that coming together to kind of formulate a council response to the consultation, which we've got the opportunity to be able to deliver. So, David, do you want to?
Thanks. Yeah.
Go for it.
And just about everyone in this room will be familiar with what I'm about to say, but it's for the recording, I guess, and for our guests as well. And I just wanted to thank most of the committee members or the subject members are actually here. So thanks to to Bob, Janet, Mike, who have been helping turn around a kind of community response in quite a short period of time. We've also had fantastic input. A number of us had fantastic input. Justine Flowers, who's a resident on Lake Road, who's involved the BBC, involved the local MP. So there's been a huge amount of community effort. So quick summary, lots of local concerns, Emma has said, including from all the high street retailers and clubs around the lake grounds and at the Lido. Particularly about, one of the particular concerns is the fact that consultation doesn't ask the yes/no question, do you want parking charges? It's more about, we are going to implement parking charges, how do you like us, how much would you like to pay, and what do you think are the pros and cons of, for example, a permit for local community members might be. Some of the challenges are around high street retailers are concerned about a fall in footfall on the high street, very worried about business. They're worried about volunteers, how volunteers in the charity shops are going to park throughout the day. They're worried about low-income people. They're worried about trade being turned away to where parking is free. So we've got canals just 15 minutes drive away. And there are all sorts of concerns from residents who live close by to where the parking charges are going to be introduced about displacement parking. And that's a particular concern around the lake grounds, but also around Roads Road, Slade Road, and areas close to the high street. So lots of groups concerned. There's BBC coverage on the news over the weekend. We're told it was due to be last night, but it was bumped off. The online petition, as you say, Emma's had 3,000 names. There have been 3 well-attended meetings at the Focal, which thanks to all the councillors for attending, providing feedback to help us collate a report on this. What has PTC done so far? Well, because of the concerns that the comms about the consultation have only been through social media and email, we've done some leafleting of the high street and local roads. Thanks to Bob and Mike for helping with that, and around the lake ground roads. So people who aren't on social media got to hear about the meetings and the possibility of completing forms down at the library. I chatted to quite a lot of high street businesses when I was walking down the high street delivering leaflets, and absolutely universal concern about this impact on their trade at a time when trade's already suffering. So we've attended 3 public meetings, spoken to shopkeepers and businesses, spoken to local residents whilst giving out the leaflets, spoken to lake grounds clubs, the Lido, the Tennis Club, Cricket Club, Bowls Club and others, and put together a response. The key elements in our response is probably worth just reading out this, if that's okay. So the key element, the key starting point of our consultation responses from the outset, we wish to be clear that following input from Portishead residents, high street retailers, shop workers, volunteers, lake grounds clubs, the Portishead Lido businesses at the lake grounds, the town council objects to the imposition of parking charges. There is a major concern that charging will have an adverse impact on the high street and high street retailers and those working or volunteering in these outlets. The high street is the heart of our community, and there's a great concern that changes will adversely affect trade at a time that local businesses are struggling. Similarly, parking charges at the lake grounds will lead to loss of local amenity and impact on volunteers and low-paid workers working in clubs, leisure facilities and local businesses, as well as reduced footfall at the Lido. We'd like to highlight that in 2021, the Portishead Lake Ground Survey hosted on North Somerset's portal, 78% of the over 1,000 respondents were against the imposition of parking charges. The sorts of people who will lose out by parking include high street retailers, the elderly, people with disabilities, people on low incomes, volunteers, as will residents impacted by displacement parking, as I've said already. And as a testament to these concerns, local, online and paper petitions have so far gathered over 3,000 signatures. Other particular concerns, displacement parking causing chaos, concerns that local supermarkets might start charging for parking to prevent displacement parking, concerns that the planned introduction of permits for residents don't cover the lake grounds, so whilst they will cover parking on the high street, doesn't cover lake grounds, concerns about the use of apps disadvantaging the elderly and those who are not able to use the digitally disadvantaged, I think is the phrase. So that put together an 8-page document together, and that's sort of
Yeah, no.
the
that's
bare
good
bones of it.
summary, yeah.
I think the only things, there's some more details, a little bit of fine tuning is required. Janet spotted some typos, and thanks for your comments, Jenny, on it today. There are some specific things we need to think about. That's whether, as well as the free text responses we've put together, how we respond to the specific questions in the consultation. So one question is, would you prefer to pay using a pay and display machine, even if this meant higher charges, or would you be prepared to pay by phone, online, or app in order to achieve lower charges? So the options here are charges are kept as low as possible, or charges is typically 50%, 50p higher than the minimum, so there can be a limited number of pay and display machines. Charges are typically £1 higher. So we've got some specific things we might want to answer, or we could just leave those sorts of questions blank.
Can we just say, we don't agree with other charging anyway, so we are not prepared to answer those questions. Yes.
Do others think?
Can I ask?
Okay, so I've been
Yeah, no,
through that.
the document that you've produced, which is really good, right? You can't cut and paste that into the consultation documents. You can,
Yeah.
but
We've-
there are certain boxes, because I filled in the consultation
We've got
myself. as a
different
resident.
boxes as a council.
You have.
So
That's
then-
all.
then-
That's answered the
then-
question.
Yeah, it's a different.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a different.
Yes.
Council. So all council, there's a separate questionnaire you can complete.
Is there as a
As
ward
well.
council?
Yes.
A separate
Yes.
one? How did I? Okay, yes, I just filled it in as an ordinary resident and got very frustrated because you had to answer certain questions and I just wanted to veto them and you couldn't just go on to the next question.
I think for this one you can do
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
I haven't tried submitting it yet, so it may not be submitted
Yeah.
as tick, so that'll be the true test.
Okay.
You
Janet,
can submit without that. You can submit without ticking the boxes. I'm worried that if we choose the lower amount of money, people will be able to then say, oh, well, they're perfectly happy about paying 50p, whereas in fact, they don't give the option of paying nothing. And that is a very poorly constructed consultation document. And I feel that that you must never fill in anything that admits that you're prepared to pay anything at all.
Mike, so you're going to come on?
Yes, David, first of all, excellent report. Thank you for writing it all up. At the public meeting downstairs, where 80 people, wasn't it, I think, present, I was very tempted to, with 99.9% of them against parking fees, full stop, I was very tempted to just throw in, you know, the other side of the argument, but I was a bit worried about getting lynched, so I didn't. But there are issues regarding the lack of exercise that people are sometimes negligent over. The fact that some people drive from very short distances away to then park in the free car parks all day long, and therefore blocking visitors coming to Portishead and using the car parks for an hour or two to go into the high street to shop. So there's a bit of blockage going on there, because we know that particularly the one behind Somerset Hall can get full quite quickly. And then there are all the other issues regarding the supermarkets ones, which are now 2 hours and an hour and a half, I think, an hour now. But and the encouraging people to walk and cycle more, which I know North Somerset was sort of mentioned in their report, don't they? But these do things, they do sort of need to come into consideration a bit. But it's difficult to wind that in, weave it into the report, isn't it?
I think you make a really important point around the public health position. And I would, I would encourage folk to exercise. I'd encourage, greener approaches to transport.
Yeah, jump on the bus and go down to the village.
I think the kind of the overwhelming consensus from everyone we've spoken to, not just meeting attendants, people who've approached us, has been against this. So I don't
disagree.
I think we have to represent the views of the town.
I fully understand, and I don't disagree with that.
Jenny?
I agree with quite a lot of what you've said. However, I'm also aware that a lot of elderly and disabled people drive down to the lake grounds because it's the only flat area they can access to have a walk. And if you're a disabled, for somebody like me who can't walk very far, to be able to go down to the lake grounds to have a flat walk is really important, because there is nowhere else in Portishead. And I will throw this in whilst I'm talking. One of our other volunteers knocked on the windows of 30 different people who were parked at the lake grounds, looking at the view and getting up and having a walk. None of them, and they're all Portishead residents, none of them knew about the parking consultancy document at all, which is an absolute disgrace. It means that North Somerset has completely failed in allowing people to diversity access to this issue.
I think one of the items that myself and Wendy have spoken about is in regards to our response, but where we've got items which don't naturally fit into what opportunity that we've got to formally respond, could be addressed in an open letter that we could, sort of draft, because there's concerns obviously about the funding of the implementation, about any road markings, about the cost of actually the app or whatever else that they're considering. We need these, it needs to be a balanced, sort of, if we know it's going to cost 200,000 or 300,000 to actually implement such a scheme, we're talking about no return on investment of introducing any car parking charges for maybe 2 or 3 years. Which it doesn't coincide with what's in the budget, with what's been signed off and the expectations of revenues that they're going to, create. And I think, David, you mentioned earlier, it's 0.2% of the overall budget. So this is it's negligible for the negative impact on the populations of all of the areas that they're looking to implement this, versus what benefit it's going to be overall to the budget. Is sorry, Rob, do you have it?
So I've been waiting forever to do this. The parking consultation, obviously, but a lot of people have said it's biased. It's just one way, and you're absolutely correct. First question should have been, we want to. You spoke earlier on about parking meters and the additional charge, and this is again, for me, it's another way of North Somerset getting out of it. So when you're saying the elderly can't use a mobile phone, or you can't get a signal down at the lake grounds, oh well, guess what? We'll put a parking meter in there. So again, we've fallen into this point that, oh well, there's another reason that we can sort out for you, where it's going to cost you another £1. There's other things that I looked at. So to give you an example, obviously Aldi have changed their parking times to 1.5 hours, and I own obviously a lot of Aldi stores that are 1.5 hours, but obviously it's mysteriously ours have just materialised out of the blue. But you've also got to remember that this can also happen to Red Road Car Park and the High Street, so they might decide that we'll just give you half an hour in the High Street. They might decide just a 2-hour stay in Red Road Car Park, but not charge you. Another thing, as I was talking to the officers and North Somerset executives, is another point they've suggested, that to raise the precept to cover the costs, and that money comes out of the precept. So in other words, people still park for free in the town and at the lake ground, but the precept will go up to cover the cost. Again, it doesn't matter which way you look at it. It's an advantage for North Somerset, and again, the town loses out. So back to car parking meters, same thing. There's your excuse, we put parking meters in, we charge another pound on top of it. And yeah, the whole thing to me is biased all the way through. No matter which way we turn, there's going to be an excuse for it.
But I mean, everybody's opportunity now to make sure that, you know, we're all filling in the consultation as residents, as ward councillors, as, you know, as a town council as well. And yeah, it's obviously going to go to the executive to be voted on in August, September, I think, time, something like that. And between now, the end of the consultation, and then was when the feedback is going to be taken, and we've been told that all of the feedback is going to be taken, so all of the narrative that's in all of those textual answers that everybody's written, that's all going to be fed in.
My concern is if it goes ahead, it's the domino effect. So it's what everyone else does, whether it's the person that parked in off street, or whether a supermarket changes its parking procedures.
There's a lot to sorry.
People are talking about it being called in, so full council then gets to vote on the matter.
Yeah.
How many councillors are there in Weston-super-Mare? Where of course
26.
26 plus two, where Salthouse Fields is charged, so there might be a bit of a pro charging there, so it might come down on.
No, I spoke to Hannah Young, and she said no, it's not going to go to full council.
But it could be called in. So there's, I've had a communication from one of our residents about calling it or not. And I've passed that on to Roger and Tim. And Tim, Roger suggested Tim spoke to an officer in Somerset about how to do that. But Mike's made a point, I guess, if it is called in and it goes to full council, there are only 6 Portishead district councillors.
Yeah.
For sure, there are also 5 Clevedon councillors and 4 Nailsea. So that's what, 15.
Yeah, it still doesn't even it up in our balance, really, I guess. In terms of
We'll go through because of,
yeah, there is, yeah.
because of that. Yeah.
Okay,
I'd like to say,
last.
stopped you.
Sorry.
There's one specific question which I think we can answer, and that is, do you agree that charging for parking should be fair and consistent across North Somerset? And my suggested response to that is either no, because if we say yes to that, that means
It's collective agreement,
so that's the only specific question. Well, the other one is, do you support the introduction of a short stay parking permit? I would suggest we put unsure for that.
I should say no. Because
but then we don't.
That's what I'm saying.
opens the door to a short stay parking
and
permit.
that-
We should say no to everything.
Well, that again is what I was saying earlier on. It's the way they've done it.
Yeah.
There's a reason for everything. So if they say short stay car park, does that mean that they can do Road, they can do the high street, they can give you half an hour at the lake grounds? It's that's what I said, it opens a can of worms.
I would suggest we say unsure, actually, Jack, because I think if we say no, that means they may introduce parking and say, but you didn't want park, we're going to charge for all these car parks, but you said you don't want a parking permit, so we're going to introduce the car parking charges.
Yeah.
So I think unsure is probably all blank is the safe
Which
answer.
I think we're all aware we're in between a rock and a hard place. But we'll take all of the opportunity that we've got to respond in the manner that we are. There's a massive groundswell in terms of public feedback, and with a petition, and as you said, we've got from a local MP point of view, from a media point of view. So I think all of the channels that we can tap are being tapped. We just need to make sure that our voices collectively are loud and strong. I think that's.
We do realise that they put parking meters in, I'll chain myself to one, and we will be able to pay.
That would be another thing for BBC to come. Okay, so we stride on with this, and
I think we need to look at every avenue and reply with that email. on every format of this thing.
And just to, it's the 9th. It's the,
It's a Thursday.
it's the 9th of May, isn't it? That's the consultation ending.
I've spoken to the people doing the what do you call it, the petitions, and they're going to be counting them up over the bank holiday weekend.
Yeah,
So we should have a total number by Tuesday. So if we're right with you, Wendy, for the clerk response, if we could give you
that's
the
fine.
final version of this then.
Yeah.
I don't, there's some minor points, some minor tinkerances. I think everyone's seen what's essentially our main.
Yeah, let's double check that. As I wonder if, I think it was the Tuesday.
I think it was the 7th. I think the closing date.
Is the 7th, which is the Tuesday after the.
Yeah, I've got the ninth in the diary.
Let me just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's the Tuesday after the bank holiday, Monday, which would make it the
Yeah, it's
7th.
early.
That work for you? Lindsay?
Yes,
So we could get an estimated update on the numbers next week.
I was going to
sometime.
say if we could get it a bit earlier than that, because I've got something else massive coming in that we've got to look at on that Tuesday.
Did you rotate it and just put the numbers in?
Yeah,
Like,
close
oh,
to
absolutely.
Tuesday the 9th, Tuesday
Okay,
the 7th.
but yeah,
of May.
so just to
Yeah.
reiterate that it is the Tuesday the 7th.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
doesn't say what time.
Okay, so as I said, we continue on our path there. The next consultation that we need to draw people's attention to, so the West of England Nature Partnership and the Local Nature Recovery Strategy consultation. So this is a consultation that is currently underway. This has got a close date of the 10th of May. And in essence, what it's looking to do is to ensure that there is local input into all of the different, into this programme to ensure that the local nature recovery toolkits, which are being prepared, have local input and local knowledge. So there is a North Somerset website. We've got the links obviously on the electronic versions of this. But that takes you to a page where you can access that toolkit, and you get an interactive map to sort of add your comments on. So I know there's I think 3 or 4 comments on there for the moment from Portishead residents around the golf course and sort of some other areas as well. It's not to be necessarily confused with the sort of scientific interest areas or anything like this. These are specific areas where biodiversity has been depleted. So there's specific targeted action that either landowners or the public can take to actually increase sort of the biodiversity or to reduce the degradation in essence. So the consultation period is ongoing now. As I said, what they're looking for is more people to kind of input on that, so they've got more local input, and then all of that will be wrapped up into this toolkit that then policymakers and the local authorities and the government will be utilising to create the strategies for these particular areas going forward. So it's, I think, given our numbers, it's going to be quite difficult for us to put an official council response together in that period. But what we're asking to do is to make sure that through our networks we make as many people aware that the consultation is running as possible. We will be reaching out to local interest parties in this in this kind of area, just to make sure that obviously they are aware. I can see that Avon Wildlife are part of it as well. So yeah, we just need to make sure.
Wild Portishead aware.
I don't know. That would be somebody I'll be reaching out to just to make sure that that they are. But yeah, it's just a case of we will get it on. From Amy's point of view, we will request that we get it on just some reminders really, I guess, that we can all share as well. But as I said, that is there, and lots of information on the North Somerset strategy page on that as well. And as I said, the links are there. The links are there for people to follow. And then the last consultation, which is running, and we've got the date 31st of May on this one. So this one's running for a little bit longer, and it's the North Somerset Rural Strategy. So this is the next 4-year strategy that they are consulting on at the moment, and it's about reviewing and refreshing the rural strategy in part to add to their corporate plan. So us as a town council are not part of the rural strategy per se. The classification for the rural strategy is being termed where locations have got a parish council rather than a town council. But I think it's probably wise that we look at the questions and maybe we get a small working party together at some point during May when we've got a little bit more capacity to have a look at this, because we border all of them, we border parish councils with kind of like an island of a town council in a sea of parish councils, and obviously we have got areas which are, butting up in that sense, and this is all about all of the different things that from a policy point of view need to be taken into account with input in regards everything, sort of tourism, infrastructure, the networks, digital sort of parities as well. So there's a lot of different threads that we can look at as well. But in essence, I think it just makes sure that we're on the same track and we understand from their strategy point of view what their focus areas are as well. So that, as I said, is live now, and that's open until the 31st of May. So I think at some point across the course of the next couple of weeks, we just make sure that we've got at least 1 or 2 councillors on within that working party that we can actually start reviewing.
I'm just looking at what it says here. It says within the corporate plan,
Yes.
the Somerset Council have committed to ensure the 4 towns, Clevedon, Elsey, Portishead and Weston-super-Mare, have placemaking
So
strategies.
we'll have a placemaking strategy alongside that. For the parish councils, there'll be a rural strategy. Both of those come together to be the corporate strategy.
Do we have a placemaking strategy?
We do have, but that's not in consultation at the moment. And I don't know when the 4-year plan for the previous strategy would have ended, to be honest. So I don't know if that straddles the dates. This is the rural strategy because it's 2024-28. Well, I don't know what the placemaking strategy is going into. Yeah, sorry, Mike.
I think, as you mentioned, one of the issues relating to us being surrounded by parish councils, and Portbury, Hackney, Gordano, Western Gordano, is connectivity.
Network.
Rural connectivity, and I think it would be quite important to have a response from us in respect to making that connectivity better.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go down Gypsy Lane when it's after it's been rained, you need a pair of Wellingtons. It's almost impossible to walk down there, for example, towards Portbury. So yeah, I think it would be good to have a response.
Yeah, definitely. So we will make sure that I think we've got some input into that. But yeah, I know I can take I'll randomly find another councillor that's got some
Is this one where there's a kind of specific response box for the town council, or is this one you just put individual comment?
This is individual comments. I haven't seen the town council response no, I'm afraid not. I'll find out though. We'll dig deeper into it. I've only seen the online ones through iConsult. But yeah, there's a lot of information. There's a lot of things that you can download, so we can make sure that we can share that around everybody to read at your leisure. Yes, if we've got any left, then Right, so
Pleasure.
agenda item number 14, and this was a sort of a summary information poster that was has been generated just around the Boots Pharmacy closure on the High Street. A little bit behind in this just because of the schedule of the meeting, but this was made available at the beginning of April anyway. So it's advising of the additional pharmacy locations and how far away they are from but this is actually up on the Boots site as well. So I'm sure everybody is fully aware of where they are. We will be having, as part of the Tea and Tech, additional support, really, I guess, for residents that might want to go on to choosing sort of pharmacy at home services and things like that. So we haven't got that quite ready yet, but we'll make sure that we obviously publish that and make sure everybody is as aware that we can. So it's one of the strategies for support anyway. So yeah, no, good idea.
I thought that was a great idea of yours about pushing that through Tea and Tech, and I guess the only thing is just spreading the net more widely than just the regular Tea and Tech members.
Yeah,
making
yeah.
sure we kind of have our whole community.
We've got a lot of ideas floating around at the moment, so it includes potentially holding spin-off sessions at maybe sort of residential nursing homes and things like that as well. Just to see whether we can, target the people that might not be coming or able to come to Tea and Tech, just to introduce those to our
So what
services.
day is Tea and Tech?
Wednesday once a month.
Which
What's the
Wednesday?
time?
I have to ask Nikki. It's in the morning, 10 to 12. I think.
10 to 12, yeah.
But we'll make sure that we specifically have these sessions highlighted in a different way. So yeah, we hopefully reach more people, and separately we'll just be addressing with the pharmacies if there's anything else that we can do to try and support. But for the moment, I think it's just about trying to divert the volume, really, I guess, that the pharmacies are struggling to deal with at the moment. And
we need a bigger car park at Avon Lake.
maybe we will. At least we haven't got so many holes
So
in
if
it
you're
now.
not falling out on the side of your car.
Okay, so agenda item number 15. So this is a letter of thanks that's been received by the council from the Gordano Civic Society, thanking the town council for the financial contribution to the restoration of Lorimer's Park. I hope I pronounced that
Lorimer's Park.
correctly. Excellent.
Yeah.
Just say
Chris,
that there will be an official opening in due course to thank the sponsors, a representative from the town council, ward councillors, please. National Grid and Lions Homes also helped, and the Avon Local History Association, which will be arranging a date. Peter Hills was the one that ran the project and saw it through to its completion. And I think we all agree that it's been a good asset for that rather ugly little triangle of tarmac that existed before.
I think gradually little areas of Portishead are being smartened up, aren't they? Gradually.
Nothing potholes.
Oh, there's nothing.
That's our remit.
Yeah. So, okay, so last agenda item then, date of next meeting. That's Thursday, the 30th of May at 7:30 p.m. And that brings our committee meeting to a close. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
It is 21:05.